And welcome back. Today we are flying out the I-225 and this is one of my favorites. It's a little bit weird to fly and it's definitely unconventional, but it's a lot better than people might think it is. And it's especially about the low speed performance, the high altitude performance, and you just want to be at high altitude. If you go above 550 IS, you'll be an absolute brick. What you want to do is you want to be above people, you want to bait people into dogfights, and the second you can drop those landing flaps, this thing becomes an absolute monster. And you can dogfight almost everything in this thing. You can hang with Ki 84s, you will beat B47Ms, you will beat K4s, you will beat FU4Bs, you will beat about everything when it comes to low speed dogfighting. The R152Hs are a bit close, they are a bit sketchy and they definitely need to mess it up. But in general, you are extremely powerful the second you go below that 450 kilometers an hour mark. The main weakness is just the compression, and if you have flown the P38K, it's pretty similar in terms of playstyle in this thing. I think this thing is a little bit better, because you have a little bit more options, and you just have a lot more volume of fire. Something a lot of people like doing, especially the K4s, is just turn around and run to the airfield. Both of these guys do that. They get tangled up with me. They don't even have to start a dogfight, they don't even have to do anything, they just turn around. This is the start of the match even. And the first thing this guy does is just turn around and run back to the airfield. And I'm not really having that, so I'm just gonna click him out of the air. The force effects are extremely potent. You want to run tracer rounds. You have 4 of them in the nose, you only have 100 rounds per gun. But because you have 4 of them, most of the time if you shoot like, what, 8 to 16 rounds in a burst total, if it hits, they are gonna be absolutely gone. These guns are extremely dangerous. Unlike my last video in the I-225 where it's titled I Hate Shavax, for very valid reasons. Everything I say there still applies, so if you watch this video and you think I want more of this plane, feel free to check that one out, because I'm flying 1v6 I think it was. But that's just one of my better videos, one of my best matches in this entire game, and these will be more of your average games you'll find yourself in pretty often. So first things first, 190 AA. He just flies over us, he's gonna fly straight, not really gonna do him any justice. He's trying to go for the bomber, he notices that he's getting shot at, but he just keeps flying straight. Right now I'm just trying to get the highest people out of the match, because I need to start carrying, because this game is already basically lost. It's like, I think it's 4v9, 4v10, but 2 of my teammates are crippled, 1 of them is a bomber, or 2 of them are a bomber. I don't have much support, let's keep it that way. The T-18 here dives out, makes it impossible for me to help him, and then dies to the 190. It's a 190F, I can see that in the kill feed. And now I just want to start setting up, because I don't know where the enemy is. I see an LA-11 coming in, I think, well, that's free food. Then 109 pops up, and then another 109 pops up. And both of the 109s are in a squad. So this is actually going to be a little bit of a juggle fest. And what do I want to do? I want to set up first, I want to gain a little bit of altitude, because I'm not going to be fighting them at this altitude. I want to make the LA-11 absolutely useless, or at least more useless than it already is, because at lower altitudes it's pretty decent. So I run away for a little bit, we reach 6 kilometers, and we just turn around and go head on with all 3 of them. We head on the 109, 109 is crit, he is not doing very well, and then we go head on with the LA-11. We do the same thing, we kill his oil tank, and as you can tell, he's not really leaking any oil, which indicates to me that this oil tank is already empty. It just combusted instantly, his oil tank is empty, so I'm just gonna run away for about 1, maybe 2 minutes. I'm just gonna wait for his speed to just start absolutely dropping, because then his engine starts overheating. Once that happens, he's out of the fight. He can do absolutely nothing. I'm just cruising. I'm extremely fast compared to these guys at these altitudes, and all I'm doing right now is just delaying the LA-11. This seems very boring, but the problem with this thing is in 2v1s, if they're both in your 6 and you start turning, the chances of you making it out alive are slim to none. This thing is extremely powerful when it comes to the low speed turning. Even in like a 1v3, I'm not too worried about taking the fight. The problem is, you need to get in the position first where this thing becomes strong. And if you have to go defensive against 2 or 3 guys, you need some speed to dodge them. And if you have some speed, you can't dodge anymore. So I want to turn this into a 2v1. Or 1v1, sorry, it already is a 2v1. And right now I'm just trying to get this LA-11 to actually use its engine. I don't want him to start coasting at me, I don't want him to cool his engine off. So I engage for a little bit, and then I'm just going to dip again. Because I want this LA-11 to just absolutely burn that engine up, and then I will start 1v1ing the K4. The LA-11 turns back on us, and we are just going to dive out. Not the best idea, but I'm kind of out of options here, and I don't want to just run away the entire time. So for now, I'm outrunning both of them. The LA-11, as you can tell, is losing speed a little bit here. He's not going very fast, he's not going super slow, but he's definitely not here with a 100% engine. He's not keeping this 100. And you can tell he's kind of struggling. He's probably started weaping again because he somehow starts catching me. So somehow, that's just a little bit. And then he bails out. His engine was cooked. And he probably could have stayed in here a little bit longer, but I would have just ran until he did that. So now we start 1v1ing the K4, which is what we wanted to do. We roll out of the way, and the second you survive that pass, you win. Unless the K4 runs away. You do want to drop your throttle a little bit, and what I want to do is just stay above his nose and go as much vertical as I can. Because the slower I can force this, the bigger my advantage becomes. And just look at this turn rate. Look at the difference in performance. I cut my throttle. And I am way above this guy. And then I drop the landing flaps. And I just instantly cut inside of this guy. He can now start trying to dive away. But he's a little bit slow to do so. So we get a crit. And he's too close. He really can't get away anymore. And of course, if you have a little bit more room, the K4 can just dive away. If he starts rolling about. If he forces the high speed passes. I can do nothing. And it turns into a stalemate. But the second the K4 takes that fight, he loses. And I absolutely love that. The problem is, when I make a video like this, people are going to be aware of it, or at least more people are going to be aware of it. And then people are going to start running away from you, which is going to make this thing probably not as enjoyable as it might be. And here I'm going for the N1K and I'm trying to commit to him. I'm trying to kill him as quickly as I can, because the N1Ks, they're not too dangerous. But these are the planes that are very, very annoying when you're trying to 1v2 or 1v3 even. If you can stall 3 109s out at the same time, and they keep sticking to fight, they die. But if there's a Japanese plane in the mix, they might be able to just pitch up into you and they might end up killing you, which is very annoying. So I want to get those kind of planes out at the start of the match. Same with the A6Ms, same with the A7Ms. God forbid an A7M joins the mix. A7M in a 1v1, completely fine. I can fight those all day long. Problem is when it's an A7M together with, say, a P51H or an F2G, or anything that has energy, anything that I can fight conventionally, like a K4, like an F2G, like an FU4B, LA9, all those planes. Well, LA9 is in my team mostly. But if there's an A7M next to all the other guys, I am gonna have a problem. And I'm gonna have a big problem. And as we are flying around in the middle of absolutely nowhere, I'm gonna take my time to, one, thank all my patrons. Thank you very much. It's very much appreciated. And secondly, I'm going to be plugging the ever living hell out of the defensive flying guide that I made last week. And if you are struggling with it, whether it's maneuvering, the positioning itself, just basically everything that comes to it, at least to a certain degree, especially the basic part, like the first 50 to 70%, it's completely clapped out on that. If it's a little bit more in depth, a little bit more advanced, it's going to be mostly a situational thing, an experience thing, and something I can't really explain very well without it being the exact same scenario every time it happens. And that never happens in this game. So you kind of have to be on your own on that one. And I am looking at doing more examples, just like I did with the energy guide, where I have a part 2 with just examples to just further elaborate. But I'm kind of limited by, well, not my art, obviously. My art is absolutely impeccable. But I'm kind of limited by the clips that I can get, because I don't want to force them in custom battles. I don't want it to look like we have paid actors, so to speak. I want real life, quote-unquote, examples. So more examples might be on the way later, but I can't really promise you that, because I kind of fly in a way where I don't have to defensive fly, or at least I have to defensive fly as little as possible, which is also one of the key points of that video. Getting back to the gameplay, Key 83 is diving on us, and I mean, we just kind of roll around him. He is also not very maneuverable. He has a lot better climb rate than us, and he's gonna sit there the entire match, and it's going to be extremely annoying. When you have someone above you in this thing, which is one of the main weaknesses, if you get someone above you, someone that's faster than you on top of it, you gotta struggle a little bit. Because when they push you slower, you are forced to fight at a low speed. If they push you down into enemies, and you're going very fast, and the enemy is going fast enough, and you have to start dodging them, you are in boom and zoom hell, because you are not able to get out of it, and it's just very annoying. Here I'm trying to turn into the A7M. I was seeing if I could maybe get a shot in, but the Key 83 is a little bit less passive than expected, and he's actually already coming for us. So I just dodged his guns and I'm just flying away. If that Key 83, I was expecting him to go away for like 5, 7, maybe 8 kilometers. He doesn't. He's already back on us, and he's gonna make it so that we can't kill the A7M. The A7M would have died right there if I had the room, if I had the time, if this Key 83 wasn't there. And this Key 83 is going to ruin this entire match, essentially. Because he's constantly putting pressure on me. He's constantly making it so that I can't really engage anyone. And until he stops doing that, I can't really do anything either. And I can't force these high speed fights. I can't equalize the speed. Because if I equalize the speed, the problem with that is I'm gonna go too fast to dodge him and then I just die. Because he actually turns better than us at very high speed. So I can't really touch this guy. He can touch us. What he has to do is be a little bit more aggressive towards us and just push us down to the deck because his entire team is right below me. But this time the Key 83 is flying away a little bit further. And I can now do two things. I can wait for this Key 83 to come back and just turn this into a 20-minute stalemate. Or what I do is I start cleaning up the people down low so that I can fight the Key 83 later on with all the freedom in the world. Because I don't want to deal with a Key 83 that's this passive or that's playing it this safe. Because he keeps breaking off prematurely. He keeps not really engaging me. All he does is kind of reminds me that he's there, puts some pressure on me. And then he simply runs away again. Which is very annoying because I can't really do much against him. The Key 83 is now flying away. He's looking for something. He's probably looking for other people that are higher than me. And this gives me a little bit of room, a little bit of time to start engaging the P-47 below us. And the P-47 below us, well, he clearly knows that we are there. He keeps pitching up for us. And then he sees that I'm going to pitch down. He's going to run away. He's going to break off. And he's going to disengage. Right now the P-47 is flying away from us. And I'm kind of hoping in the back of my mind that he's going RTB. So I'm start engaging the furball over here. And it's mostly Japanese planes, which are extreme, or it's all Japanese planes actually, which is pretty annoying. But the P-47 there is one of those planes that can actually catch me. The P-47 then turns back around. Very annoying. So I'm gonna re-engage. I'm gonna go directly below the Key 83. If the Key 83 goes for me right now, he's gonna go too fast. He will not be able to get shots on us, and we should be somewhat safe. So I'm hoping that I can bait this P-47 into a dogfight. I'm going a little bit sideways to show him I'm not coming head on, you can come shoot at me. And if he tries to do that, he has to pitch up on us. And that means that I can probably stall him out. But he notices it, and he doesn't actually commit. He just instantly breaks off. If he had taken that fight, it would have lasted about 15 seconds, and he would have been back in the hangar. But he does the right thing, he breaks off, and he's going to, I wouldn't really call it running, he's just disengaging. He can't really take this fight with me. He needs to force this to a higher speed, and he does the correct thing yet again. He dives out. If I follow this, I die to him. And if I dive to him and I kill him, I will be below the entire enemy team. Because all the zeros and shit are over there. They're not very high at the moment. But he's going to equalize the energy between me and the rest of his team. Other than the Key 83. But the Key 83 then goes for a bomber. And if he hadn't done this, he would have won this match. If he had focused me down, he would have won this match. But he didn't. And he's gonna go for bombers. And I'll take it. I'll gladly take it. But with this kind of gameplay, I can show you both sides of the coin. That Key 83 is there, I can do nothing. Key 83 is gone, there's no one above me, and I have free reign. These guys are gonna do absolutely nothing to me now. I need to be careful, however, because this P-47 is showing signs of brain activity, which is pretty dangerous, because this thing is a little bit of a noob abuser, seal clubber in that kind of sense, where if the enemy knows what they are doing and they are very good, this thing is an absolute nuisance to deal with, but it's not that much of a threat, because well, you can just go fast, and this thing will never be able to kill you. And I see the P-47 turning around for us, and I see the A7M right below us, and I know that P-47 is showing brain activity, so I'm going to bait the P-47 by engaging the A7M, and the A7M right now is giving me a pretty solid shot. Very easy kill. We dive in, we kill him. The Key 84 is kind of damaged. The other A6M is kind of far away. And for now, I'm expecting the P-47 to go for us. We can just climb away, and the Key 84 as well as the A7M are going to do nothing to us. And the P-47 is probably going to try and close the gap now, because we are slightly lower. We are on equal energy, or equal altitude. He's a little bit faster than me. But this is a fight I'm not particularly worried about. I do need to be careful again, because he has those 850 cals, and if one of those shells finds my plane, if this thing gets an oil leak, kiss your ass goodbye. You got about 30 seconds before your engine turns orange. It's really bad. Like, of course, if you get an oil leak in any plane, it's pretty bad, especially in props, but this thing basically instantly starts overheating. So for now, I'm just trying to climb away. I'm not really running away from the P-47. I'm trying to break up the P-47, the Ki-84 and the potential A6M that's right behind him. I see the Ki-84 go for someone on the deck. It's a bomber. So I know that I'm kind of free right now. So I'm going to dive in. I'm going to turn in, dodge his guns, and we're going to set up a dogfight. But he is not going to be taking it. The thing is, I lost less speed than him here. The retention of this thing is absolutely wild. What he should have done here was dive straight down. He is not going to do that. He's going to try to maintain his altitude. And why does he do this? Because he doesn't want to get below me. Because getting below this thing is very, very annoying. The Ki-83 is behind us. I do want to keep my eye on that. And for right now, I'm just trying to snipe this guy. He keeps dodging, and then the one time he doesn't dodge, he flies between my shells, which was extremely frustrating. Because I expected it to... basically the only time I would hit him, but I'm kind of forced to kill this guy because this guy is playing too smart. He's in a too good of a plane, and this guy is gonna need my defensive flying guide because in this kind of scenario, this is the worst thing he could have done. What is he doing? He's not really outrunning me. He's not really gaining any distance. He turns better than me, at least at higher speed, so he could have just dived out. But instead, he's just gonna try and sit in my gun range, go up and down, left and right, and you can do that all day long. But I can also keep shooting at you all day long. Of course, if I don't blow through all my ammo. But the maneuvering he was doing didn't really get him anywhere. All he was doing was delay the inevitable. He's not resetting the fight. He's not doing anything. All he was doing was just trying to dodge my guns without actually gaining any distance. And if you aren't gaining any distance and you're just gonna sit in my gun range, what are you accomplishing? You're just delaying. Now, of course, if there's an enemy behind me and he's about to kill me, you can do that. It works. But it wasn't. The Ki-83 just didn't engage for the millionth time. He was playing way too passively. And he has an A6M. We come in with a lot more speed. After we landed, we go up and vertical. And we are gonna try and stall this guy out. He dives away, correct thing to do. And we're just gonna break off. This is the kind of shot that I can't take. If I do take this, I'm just gonna die. But he then dies himself and slams it into a tree. And here comes the Ki-83. I'm gonna cool my engine off a little bit. I'm gonna go into a very slight dive because I don't want to pick up too much speed, and there's about, I think it's 3 minutes left on the clock, and this guy needs to kill me. I'm the last guy alive. If he kills me, he wins. And he has been playing very passively, but right now I'm expecting him to be decently desperate because he needs to kill me right here. He can't spend too much time. He can't do what he has been doing this entire match. So I'm expecting him to just throttle drop me. The problem is that at higher speeds this thing defensively isn't that great. So we are gonna try to dodge his guns here. It's gonna be super sketchy. But I'm trying to be a little bit aggressive here because I know that if he's just gonna boom and zoom me, eventually I'm out of energy because I can only do this dodge roll once. I then get a shot, I miss it, but he's going slow with me. He's stuck in this fight now and he doesn't have nearly the speed to get away from me. So he just ends up flying in my guns. He can't really get away anymore. He turns into a matchbox. And now all we have to do is find the last enemy player, but he is about 30 kilometers away. And the game is going to end in about 2 minutes from now. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. Do check out the defensive flight guide from yesterday or 2 days ago. And if I won't see you there, I will see you in the next one.